Hi, sir. My name is Yanki Lama. I'll be talking about the video presentation, which is in MCAN's country analysis format. So I choose the country New Zealand. So here I'll be talking about the introductions of a country, New Zealand. So New Zealand, it's like the land of the long white cloud. So its location is in South Pacific uh, Ocean, and it has two main islands, that is the North and the South. And also it's leading to British colonizations and the Treaty of Waitangi 1840, which promised Maori rights under British rule. So, gaining full independence in 1947, New Zealand remains a constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary system. It also has high income economy, which thrives on agriculture, tourism, technology, and also renewable energy with China, Australia, and the US. So New Zealand is ranked among the world's most livable and forward-thinking nations in the world. Sorry. And now we talk about the history. So in history, New Zealand's political institutions have been shaped by a series of historical milestones that reflects a unique culture and heritage. So we have the representative government, Constitution Act 1852, established by Cameral General Assembly. So this act laid the foundation for New Zealand's parliamentary system. Establishment of Responsible Government 1856. The cabinet was drawn from the accountable to the elected House of Representatives. Then abolition of provincial governments. Then we have dominant status. Then we have adoption of mixed member proportional representations in response to public dissatisfactions with the first past post-electoral system. Then we talk about the extractive versus inclusive institution. Here we have New Zealand is widely recognized for its inclusive institutions characterized by democratic governments, strong legal frameworks, equitable access to service. However, like any other country, it is also has certain extractive elements. New Zealand ranks second for low corruption and strong rule of law. It secures property rights, and an independent judiciary ensures fair economic participation. But Maori land disputes still hinder indigenous development. So, New Zealand's progressive tax system redistributes income with higher earners contributing. Higher earner contributing a GST of 15% reduces tax avoidance wealth, while the bottom 50% owned top 10%. Then we have a lack of capital gains tax favors asset-rich individuals. And then New Zealand's offer free public education and ranks among the top 10 globally for quality. However, rural Maori communities face accessibility challenges. So here they face challenges. Then we have New Zealand public healthcare system ensures essential medical services and a high life expectancy up to 82 years. Mm. Economic policy and environment. So when we talk about the policy and environment, it ranks first globally for ease of business with strong labor laws, ensuring fair employment opportunities. But high property prices, it makes home ownership difficult for low income earners and agriculture dependents, especially dairy increases climate related economic risk. Indigenous rights and wealth distributions. New Zealand supports Maori economic growth and treaty settlements, but faces challenges like Maori unemployment and health disparities. Then we have strong governments and public service exist, but income inequality and property speculation hinder inclusively. Rule of law versus rule of man. So New Zealand's government combines the rule of law and rule of man. So rule of law. Rule of law introduced British legal structures alongside Maori system, aiming for unified legal framework, through its interpretations remains debated. Then it also talks about geography. It talks about the mountains, fissured lakes, active volcanoes. So what happened is like New Zealand's isolation shapes a unique legal system. In rule of man, local leaders made their own rules to meet communities' needs since there was little central control. Then environmental factors. It talks about New Zealand's diverse climate and natural hazards like earthquakes led to strict environmental and building regulation for safety and sustainability. And rule of man. Immediate environmental challenges required decisive centralized decision making, leading to instances where individual leaders made unilateral choices to address crisis. Then talks about presence, economic and business reforms, trade tariffs. So, New Zealand signed free trade agreements to boost exports by reducing tariffs. So the agreement was on climate change, trade, and sustainability that promotes sustainable trade, while the UAE cuts tariffs on 98.5% of exports. That helps agriculture and sustainability sector but face risk from global trade uncertainties. Then it talks about international sanctions. It follows global standards on sanctions but has made no recent changes. Its stable policy helps attract foreign investments, creating a business-friendly environment and supporting economic growth. So here we have population dynamics, policy reforms. So there is this Nomad Visa 2025 that lets remote workers stay for 9 months to boost the economy. However, sometimes it may cause housing shortages and social challenges. In economic development, in 2024, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand cut the cash rate to 3.75%. Why? To boost the economy of the country. And it also encourages investment. Concerns remains about weak productivity, slow wage growth and low innovation. So we have the Rostow's economic development model. Here it talks about traditional society, Maori society was self-sufficient, depending on farming, hunting and fishing with no major technological progress on large trade networks. So preconditions for takeoff, what happened is like European contact introduced. They introduced new technology, trade and a market economy. The Treaty of Waiting established British laws enabling infrastructure's growth and expanding industries like whaling, agriculture, timber, and so on. Then refrigerated shipping enabled dairy and meat exports by boosting economic growth. Export focused more on drove long-term economic transformations. Then from the 1950s to the 1980s, forestry, manufacturing and energy sectors expanded. Public services and welfare programs grew to support the workforce after the UK joined the EU in 1973. New Zealand reduced its reliance on the British market. Since the 1990s, New Zealand has shifted to a service-based economy with growth in finance, technology, and also tourism. This became the main hub of the country. So economic liberalizations in the mid 1980s to 1990s led to deregulation and globalization. But the country now enjoys a high standard of living, open markets, and standard economic growth. Its largest city is Auckland, and also I wanna add some points like Maori settlement. It's like a Polynesian navigators that arrived between 1250 century to 1300 century AD, and Maori culture that is also known as Haka Waka traditional tattoos. Then European arrived in New Zealand in the year 1642. Abel Tasman, Dutch explorer, first sighted New Zealand. Then British colonizations in the year 1769. Captain was James Cook, mapped the island. So this is all the past, the history. Treaty of Waitangi, 1840, agreement between Maori chief and the British. So New Zealand's wars took place between 1845 to 1872. Conflicts was between Maori and the British settlers. So in 1970-07 became a self-governing dominion of the British Empire. And also World Wars, strong participation in WWI and WW World War One and World War Two. Then we have women's suffrage in the year 1893, first country to grant women the right to vote. And when we talk about the present scenario of the country, we have government that is parliamentary democracy, constitutional monarchy. So we have the economy that is agriculture, dairy, sheep farming, tourism, technology, and industry. Tourism is like Hobbiton, Fortland, and so on. Then we talk about culture and sports, rugby, cricket, adventure sports. And then we talk about the future. When the future is like climate change and sustainability. The country aims to have net zero emission goal, renewable energy in the future. For tourism and economy post-pandemic recovery, eco-tourism focus, they would be focusing more on tourism. Technology and innovations, AI, artificial intelligence, biotech, space industry. Then yeah, that's all. And political landscape will be have future relation with Australia and Pacific nations. Challenges, the challenges might be housing crisis, cost of living, natural disaster preparedness. They will be preparing for all these things. That's what the future talks about. So in conclusion, New Zealand's unique history and culture richness and innovations makes the world the most beautiful place to live in. Thank you so much. Then here is the reference, and also I would like to